When we think of the ocean, we picture waves, fish, and the vast blue. But not all water is the same. Earth's aquatic ecosystems are divided into two major categories: saltwater and freshwater. This simple difference in salinity, a measure of how much salt is in the water, has profound effects on the life that calls each environment home. Saltwater makes up around 97% of the planet's water and is mostly found in oceans and seas. The remaining 3% is freshwater, located in rivers, lakes, and glaciers. While the chemical difference might seem small, the biological implications are massive. Some organisms are highly adapted to one type of water and cannot survive in the other. From how fish breathe and regulate their internal chemistry to the types of plants that can grow in each habitat, salinity influences everything. Even microscopic organisms like plankton and bacteria behave differently in saltwater versus freshwater environments. This video dives deep into the differences between these two worlds, how marine life survives, adapts, and evolves under the influence of salt. From stunning coral reefs to hidden freshwater springs, we'll explore the challenges, adaptations, and secrets of life under the surface. So grab your virtual snorkel, because whether it's the crashing waves of the ocean or the calm ripples of a mountain stream, each drop of water tells a story. Let's discover what makes saltwater and freshwater so different, and how that difference creates entirely unique ecosystems. Salinity is the concentration of dissolved salts in water, primarily sodium chloride. It's measured in parts per thousand, ppt, with average ocean water containing about 35 ppt of salt. In contrast, freshwater sources like rivers and lakes typically have less than 0.5 ppt. This seemingly minor difference determines what can live where, shaping entire ecosystems. Salt doesn't just make water taste different. It alters the water's density, buoyancy, and conductivity. Salt water is denser than freshwater, which means objects float more easily in the ocean than in a lake. This density also affects how sound travels, how heat is distributed, and even how marine animals swim and communicate. Osmosis plays a critical role in how organisms survive in different salinity levels. In freshwater, where the salt concentration inside the animal is higher than outside, water tends to rush into their bodies. In saltwater, the opposite happens. Water leaves the body, risking dehydration. Marine organisms have special adaptations to manage these challenges. This is why you won't find a goldfish in the ocean or a dolphin in a river. Most aquatic life is specially designed to survive within a narrow salinity range. Only a few species, like salmon and eels, can move between both environments by adjusting their internal chemistry in a process known as osmoregulation. Understanding salinity isn't just about chemistry. It's about unlocking the code of life beneath the surface. It's the invisible force that determines who lives, thrives, or perishes in the Great Aquatic Divide. Life in saltwater isn't easy. Oceans are harsh, salty, and often deep and cold. Yet, millions of species have evolved remarkable adaptations to thrive in this environment. From the tiniest plankton to the largest whales, saltwater organisms have developed specialized tools to handle the challenges of high salinity. Fish like tuna and mackerel constantly lose water through osmosis, so they drink large amounts of seawater and excrete the salt through specialized cells in their gills. Sharks, on the other hand, maintain a high concentration of urea in their blood, which balances the salt outside, preventing dehydration. Marine invertebrates like sea stars, octopuses, and crustaceans also have clever tricks. Sea stars use a water vascular system to manage pressure and salt content, while octopuses have well-developed kidneys to filter excess salt. Crustaceans, such as crabs, have semi-permeable shells that limit salt penetration. Coral reefs, some of the most vibrant saltwater ecosystems, thrive only in specific salinity ranges. Corals maintain a delicate partnership with algae, which helps them photosynthesize. A small change in salinity can stress the coral, leading to bleaching and death. Salt water is a demanding master, and only the well-equipped survive. These adaptations show us the resilience and creativity of evolution, proof that life always finds a way, even in salty seas. Freshwater habitats may seem gentler than the ocean, but they present their own unique set of challenges. Rivers, lakes, and wetlands often fluctuate in temperature, oxygen levels, and water volume. For freshwater species, one of the biggest issues is preventing too much water from entering their bodies due to osmotic pressure. Freshwater fish, such as trout and catfish, are constantly battling the inward rush of water. Unlike their saltwater cousins, they don't drink water. Instead, their kidneys are highly efficient at excreting excess water, while their gills absorb the necessary salts from the environment. This delicate balance keeps them from swelling up like water balloons. Amphibians, like frogs and salamanders, have permeable skin that absorbs water directly. This helps them stay hydrated, but it also makes them vulnerable to toxins and pollution. To cope, many live in shaded or protected areas and rely on mucus layers or behavioral adaptations like burrowing to stay moist and safe. Some freshwater species have developed adaptations to extreme environments. Certain desert fish survive in temporary pools by laying drought-resistant eggs. Others, like the lungfish, can go dormant for months in dried mud until rain returns. These survival strategies are critical in ecosystems where water can vanish overnight. Freshwater animals are masters of balance, thriving in environments that are often unpredictable. Their survival depends on regulation, resistance, and resilience, proving that even calm waters demand strong adaptations. While most species stick to either saltwater or freshwater, some remarkable organisms have evolved to live in both. These adaptable creatures, known as euryhaline species, have developed unique physiological mechanisms that allow them to tolerate a wide range of salinity. One of the most well-known euryhaline species is the salmon. Born in freshwater rivers, salmon migrate to the ocean where they spend most of their adult lives, only to return upstream to spawn. This incredible journey requires the salmon's body to undergo complex changes in kidney function and gill chemistry to switch between salt and fresh water. Another impressive example is the bull shark. Unlike most sharks, the bull shark can swim up freshwater rivers for hundreds of miles. It has specialized organs that help it retain salt in low salinity water, allowing it to move between ocean and river environments with ease, an advantage when hunting or reproducing. Even smaller creatures like the mollyfish or the American eel show similar dual adaptability. The American eel begins life in the salty Sargasso Sea, migrates to freshwater to mature, and returns to the ocean to spawn. This behavior is a testament to their evolutionary flexibility. Euryhaline species challenge the rigid lines we draw between ecosystems. Their ability to cross borders, both literal and biological, offers a fascinating glimpse into nature's problem-solving power and survival strategies. When it comes to marine environments, we often think of animals, but plants, too, are deeply affected by whether the water is salty or fresh. In fact, the salinity of water plays a huge role in determining what kind of aquatic plants can survive, thrive, or perish in a given ecosystem. Freshwater plants like water lilies, elodea, and duckweed are highly sensitive to salt. Their cells are not designed to cope with osmotic stress caused by saline environments. If exposed to salt water, they lose water rapidly, wilt, and die. These plants rely on stable, low-salt environments with consistent oxygen and nutrient levels. On the flip side, marine plants, especially seagrasses like eelgrass or salt-tolerant algae, have evolved to handle the constant presence of salt. Their cells contain specialized structures that regulate salt levels, and many use waxy coatings or internal pumps to manage the osmotic balance. This allows them to photosynthesize and flourish in conditions that would dehydrate freshwater flora instantly. Then there are the incredible halophytes, plants that grow in salty coastal areas or tidal zones. Mangroves are a prime example, with roots that filter out salt and leaves that excrete excess salinity. Mangroves form entire forests along coastlines, stabilizing soil and providing vital ecosystems for marine life. The differences between these plants highlight the delicate balance of life, where even a slight change in salinity can determine the fate of entire plant communities and the species that depend on them. Saltwater and freshwater ecosystems may seem like entirely different worlds, and when it comes to food webs, they truly are. Both environments support complex chains of life, but the species involved and how energy flows through these webs differ in fascinating ways. In freshwater ecosystems, the food web often begins with phytoplankton, algae, or submerged plants. Tiny zooplankton feed on these producers, becoming a meal for small fish like minnows or freshwater shrimp. Larger fish, such as bass or trout, feed on those smaller ones. And at the top of the chain might be birds like herons or mammals like otters. In contrast, saltwater food webs begin similarly with phytoplankton, but quickly escalate in scale. Zooplankton feed on these microscopic producers, which are then eaten by bait fish like anchovies or sardines. These small fish sustain predators like tuna, dolphins, or even sharks. The diversity of saltwater species, especially in coral reef systems, adds immense complexity. One major difference is the presence of apex predators. In oceans, predators like killer whales or great white sharks sit at the top, while freshwater systems usually have smaller apex species due to their confined environments. Also, saltwater ecosystems often support much larger biomass thanks to constant nutrient cycles from tides and currents. Ultimately, whether in rivers or oceans, the food web is a delicate dance of survival. Disrupt one level by pollution or overfishing, and the entire chain can ripple into collapse. Climate change is dramatically altering ecosystems across the globe, and both saltwater and freshwater environments are feeling the pressure. Rising temperatures, melting glaciers, sea level rise, and shifting weather patterns all contribute to changes that affect marine life in unique and troubling ways. In saltwater ecosystems, one of the biggest threats is ocean warming. Coral reefs, known as the rainforests of the sea, are bleaching and dying due to heat stress. Warmer waters also affect migration patterns of fish, disrupt breeding cycles, and reduce oxygen levels, leading to dead zones where almost no marine life can survive. Meanwhile, freshwater systems are experiencing increased evaporation, lower water levels, and more frequent algal blooms caused by warmer temperatures and pollution. These blooms can be toxic, killing fish and making water unsafe for drinking or recreation. Additionally, glacier-fed rivers are drying up as ice melts faster than it can be replenished, affecting species that rely on cold, fast-flowing water. Another serious issue is salinity imbalance. As sea levels rise, salt water is pushing further into freshwater systems, a process called saltwater intrusion. This affects estuaries, wetlands, and even underground aquifers, displacing species and damaging entire ecosystems that can't tolerate the change. From the smallest algae to massive whales, from trout in a mountain stream to coral polyps in the tropics, no species is immune. Climate change isn't just warming the planet, it's reshaping the aquatic world, altering life as we know it both above and below the surface. Humans have always depended on water, not just for survival, but for food, trade, culture, and progress. The ecosystems of saltwater and freshwater environments support billions of people in different, yet equally vital ways. Saltwater ecosystems, like oceans and seas, are the source of nearly 20% of the animal protein consumed globally. Fisheries, Aquaculture and coastal economies rely heavily on healthy marine life. Oceans are also key players in regulating Earth's climate and absorbing carbon dioxide, making them critical in the fight against climate change. Shipping routes that cross saltwater bodies form the backbone of international trade, linking continents and economies. On the other hand, freshwater ecosystems are more directly connected to daily human life. Rivers, lakes, and aquifers supply drinking water, irrigate crops, and power hydroelectric plants. They are also centers of cultural and spiritual significance for many communities. Access to clean fresh water is considered a human right, yet billions still struggle with scarcity or pollution. The reality is that both systems are under pressure. Overfishing, pollution, damming, deforestation, and climate change threaten their balance. When we pollute rivers, we poison ourselves. When we overexploit oceans, we jeopardize our future food supply. The health of these ecosystems is directly tied to our own well-being. By protecting saltwater and freshwater environments, we're not just saving marine life, we're preserving the very systems that make human life possible. Stewardship of the seas and rivers isn't just an environmental issue, it's a human one. As we've seen, saltwater and freshwater ecosystems each play a unique role in maintaining the balance of our planet. But the future of both systems is at risk. From climate change to pollution and overexploitation, the challenges we face are significant. However, all is not lost. Around the world, communities, scientists, and organizations are working tirelessly to preserve and restore these vital ecosystems. Efforts like sustainable fishing practices, clean water initiatives, reforestation projects, and marine protected areas are steps in the right direction. As individuals, we too can make a difference. Whether it's by reducing plastic waste, supporting conservation organizations, or making mindful choices about water use, every action counts. We are all connected to the water around us, and it's up to each of us to ensure that the health of our oceans and rivers is maintained for future generations. The fight for healthy saltwater and freshwater systems is not just an environmental issue. It's a global necessity for our survival. So, let's continue to learn, advocate, and act to protect the most important natural resource we have: water.